One of the best things about farming is that there's no shortage of opinions, and no shortage of advice either. And one of the best pieces of advice I ever received in farming came, unsurprisingly, from my dad. A third generation farmer on the cusp of selling the oldest pedigree herd of Ayrshire cattle in the world. A herd of cattle that he'd milked for over 30 years. Selling the dairy cows was one of the most difficult decisions he would ever face in his farming career, but 14 years on, turned out to be one of the best. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why and how you can use it too. Also, let me know the best advice that you've received in farming in the comments section below. We're a 4th generation family farm here in southwest Scotland, and we've been farming the land for over 100 years. Now that's a long pedigree of farmers, but if you go back far enough to my great-grandfather who had the first tenancy here, he wasn't a farmer. He was in fact a butcher who was born in Glasgow. His father had moved from Glasgow to Thornhill in southwest Scotland to set up a meat processing factory which became the largest in Scotland. The farms were rented off Buccleuch estates to rear animals, predominantly pigs, and that's how my family got into farming. But why am I telling you all this? Well, because what was seared into my dad's head from his father, and his father from his father, is that this farm is first and foremost a business. And as we both stood and watched the dairy cows being loaded onto the lorry on a cold November morning back in 2009, my dad's advice to me was this: follow the money. But why is this important, and why should you care? Well, it's a reflection of where we are as an industry. We're at a crossroads in farming, and the direction of travel is changing. And with change comes uncertainty, but also opportunity. The current system that we have has made it economically unviable to produce food in this country, which has driven us to a place in where farmers are working increasingly longer hours for less and less return. Now, I fundamentally believe we need food security in this country, but at what cost? Farm businesses are drowning in debt, and the mental health of farmers is shocking. And I believe that that's too big a price to pay. So rather than get caught up in government politics or play the blame game directed at the big supermarkets, you should focus on what you can control and make changes there first. But it's not all about the money, Sandy, I hear you cry, and you're right, it's not. But you cannot look past the fact that if we are to survive as an industry, we need people and businesses on solid financial foundations. We need revenue streams that will pay us a fair price for our time, money and skill. We need to become better at following the money. If that's in food production, fine. And if not, then equally fine. I understand this will be a difficult concept for many to get their head around. So much of the identity of what it means to be a farmer is tied up in our ability to feed the nation. But unfortunately, in many cases, that no longer pays. We need to put to one side the moral obligation to feed the nation at any cost. We need to stop being so reluctant to change that it comes at the detriment of our business, or more importantly, our health. And this is my conundrum. I'm not saying that we should abandon food production in this country. Far from it. But if we are to stand any chance at delivering on a food security strategy for this nation, then we need people and businesses that are fit, healthy and thriving. And that is a world away from where we are at the minute. The current system is broken, and the feeling is that we as an industry are as well. And a good starting point to rebuild ourselves would be to follow the money. It was my dad's way of saying, diversify or die. And if you want to discover the story behind why we sold the dairy, then you can watch this video here.